Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Edensor Park. Sydney United 58 opening their home campaign, fitting that their first visitors are the Wollongong Wolves. With both teams looking ahead to the new National Second Division next year, we get an early look at how both are faring ahead of that step up next season. Alex Molchanoff, delighted to be along with you for this round 2 NPL New South Wales men's fixture. Thank you for your company on the Football New South Wales YouTube page. Wherever you're watching around the world, there are plenty of storylines to follow in this early season fixture. And the first of those storylines are on the team sheets for both teams. So let's check them out now. Sydney United 58 ran out 2-1 winners in their visit to Plume Park in Gosford on the first weekend of the season, and Zeljko Kalac makes just one change to the side that won 2-1 there, and it's an enforced one. Star striker Patrick Anselmi out for a few weeks after receiving a late red card in that one. They line up like this. In goal, number 1, Oliver Kalac. Number 3, Bailey Rule. Number 4, the captain, Adrian Vlastelica. Number 7, Jordan Ivancic. Number 8, Shunta Nakamura. Number 10, Carlos de Oliveira on the score sheet last weekend in his debut for the club. Number 11, Matthew Hatch. Number 12, Marco Arambasic, the replacement for Anselmi today up front. Number 14, Liam McGing. Number 15, Tarek Meyer. And number 19, Aidan Milicevic. The Wolves weren't so lucky in round 1, going down 2-1, just down the road from here actually at Marconi Stadium to the Stallions. A late goal
last week against Central Coast.
And let's hope that they can do so again this afternoon.
Come on, Sydney United!
Up with 2 changes in goal again. Number 20, the veteran Jan Jeftovic. In front of him, number 2, Harrison Busnell. Number 5, Fadrik Kanaizumi. Number 6, Sami Riak. Number 8, Andre Takani, one of the new signings for David Carney. Number 9, Jack Drew makes his first start of the season. Number 10, Hugo Mustafa. Number 4, Dylan Ryan. Number 24, Lachlan Scott. Number 25, Alex Maciavecchio. And number 88, Chris McStay. So the Wolves trying to upturn their form, what little of it there is at the start of this season, but also an awful record here. They haven't won here in their last 14 competitive attempts. Sydney United hoping that record holds today, and Carlos de Oliveira was so impressive in his club debut against the Central Coast Mariners last weekend. Off-season signing from Blacktown City, where he had a very good season in the team that finished 3rd last year, getting 7 goals in his 28 appearances from midfield. He starts there again today. There's been a fair bit of change for Sydney United 58. A disappointing campaign for them in the league, certainly, but finished off with a well-deserved victory over Apia Leichhardt in the Waratah Cup final at Leichhardt Oval. Something to hang their hat on, certainly. And Zeljko Kalac, he's brought in quite a number of the players I'm sure he would have wanted. Quite a few of them starting today. Not least Liam McGing, who partners Adrian Vlastelica at the heart of defence after lining up for their great rivals Marconi just a year ago. That's a nice little ball through. Jake True stayed onside. No, he hasn't. Flag late by Alessandro Lana on the far side. Referee today in the middle is Brody Merchant. One of the plethora of young referees being brought through in New South Wales football at the moment. Mentioned those changes for Zeljko Kalac. One of them that he would have liked to get in is his son Oliver, who's starting in goal today. After spending the last couple of years overseas in Spain, Croatia and Austria rather. Returns home after a couple of years abroad. Spent time in the Western Sydney Wanderers Academy earlier in his development. A couple of new faces which, well, United fans will be growing to love after their first up win. Hoping they can continue that start to the season here today. Well, it wasn't the start to last season that troubled them. They won here against Marconi, an opening round Fairfield derby. The two goal scorers that day, Leroy Jennings and Tasai Kaneko, have both made way after taking part in that Waratah Cup final. One of a slew of players who have left the club. Plenty of incomings mean there has to be some going the other way as well. Not too much turnover for the Wollongong Wolves in the off-season. Still the spine of the team that did so well to push into the upper mid-table last season. Certainly the goal for David Carney will be finals football this year. So glimpses that they might be able to take that even higher. They got plenty of impressive away victories last year. Weren't able to do so here, falling by 2-1 late in the season when both clubs really didn't have too much more to play for. Certainly Sydney United's focus at that stage of the season was on different competitions. It's been a couple of years of contrast for them. The terrific runs in both the Australia and Waratah Cups over the last couple of years have come at the expense of their league form. I don't think too many imagined that they would fall into the bottom half last season, but that's exactly what happened. Form drifting in a longer season. Had players like Laslitter and Bailey Rule, Anthony Tomalich playing well over 30 games. McStay going for goal, didn't catch that one as he can. Saw him score quite a few goals from that sort of range last season from the Wolves midfield. He's very much its beating heart. Ball played forward, easily dealt with by Busnell. It's been a slow start to this one. The temperature will be a factor this afternoon. Temperatures touching 28 degrees in Sydney's southwest at kick-off. Had drinks breaks both halves of the under-20s game. United ran out 2-1 winners in. Be surprised if we don't see similar here this afternoon. Adam Milicevic with room to turn and run and find Nakamura. It's a drilled ball. Managed to get some height on it. Matthew Hatch couldn't keep it in play. He's joined McGing in making the move, the short move from Bosley Park to Adenza Park. Probably did see as much time as he might have expected under Peter Sekenis last season. 2 starts from 2 under Selko Kalats. Perhaps suggests a brighter 2024 ahead for the former Central Coast Mariner. Totted up just shy of 30 appearances in the A-League men's after coming through under Nick Montgomery in their so successful academy team, which Milicevic came through a couple of years later. Here he is on the ball, the aforementioned Milicevic. Nice touch for Aaron Basic. Starting in place of Antelmi this afternoon, thanks to suspension. To Sydney United's top scorer last season. Maya reading it in midfield, looking for Nakamura. Well read by Dylan Ryan. One of the astute signings from Carney in the off-season, returning from Den Bosch in Holland, where he'd spent 3 years with them and Willem too. Short time on loan with Melbourne Victory amongst all that. Plenty of players who've had connections to A-League clubs. Certainly had a bit of time in the A-League men's proper over the course of their careers. Featuring here this afternoon. Matthew Hatch is one of those, looking to get at his fullback. It's fairly well dealt with by another one of Wollongong's new signings. It was Andre Takami back there doing the defending, it was. It's one of the 2 changes, and I have to say I raised my eyebrows when I saw the Wolves team sheet and there was no Takumi Afuka. Didn't have the best round 1 down the road at Marconi. Starts on the bench today. Darcy Madden, the other one who's been replaced, Takumi, taking his position at right fullback. First chance for Sydney United to swing in a corner here. A hot Sunday in Sydney southwest. Couldn't beat the first man, Tarek Meyer. Get a second bite at the cherry. In fact, he just skipped past him. Opts for the shorter option. Not the best touch from Aaron Basic. allows Wollongong to recover and clear. Slow start to this one. It's probably not a surprise given the temperatures. Players won't be going all out, and it has to be said neither of these two is known for their high press. Certainly Sydney United, a ball-dominant team over the last few years, one that prefers the game at a slower tempo. Whether that changes with the players they brought in, we're yet to see. Wollongong love to go direct. It's not to say they go in the air, but they do play progressive passes more often than not, looking for runners in behind, and they've got the athletes to really cause problems for defences. Mustafa getting a shot away. His first sight of goal this afternoon. Working in off the left, how he works in tandem with Lockie Scott will be so interesting to watch over the course of this afternoon. Scott resuming his so successful strike partnership with Jake True. Mustafa moving into a wide left role by the looks of things. Just tinkering with what is a fairly well set tactical plan under Carney now into its second season. Certainly began to bear fruit towards the back end of 2023. Scott was searching for True, who appreciates the effort, if not the execution. Bit of a different role for Tarek Meyer under Zelko Kalat so far this season as well, playing as the deepest of a midfield three. One to keep an eye on as well. Vlastelica loves to play balls like this down the channels. That suits Matt Hatch to a T. He's looking for Aaron Basic. Kanaizumi across to clear. He's got a beautiful left foot, Adrian Vlastelica. See United get a number of goals last season from balls like that over the top. Corner taken short this time. De Oliveira. Back for Tarek Meyer. Gets it on his left foot, and it scrapes wide of Janjetovic's post. Best chance of the opening 10 minutes falls Sydney United's way. They're only inches from taking the lead. Talked a bit about what Kalatz has done in terms of reforming the look of this Sydney United outfit. It's done so well in the Cups under Miro Vlastelica. This is where they can get caught out occasionally by direct sides. True, firing away with his left foot, a little wildly. Never looked like it was going to trouble Oliver Kalatz. Saw the two managers, David Carney and Zelko Kalatz, sharing a word downstairs before the game. No surprises there. From memory, their time would have crossed over at Sydney FC when Kalatz was the goalkeeper coach there. Carney was a player for a time. De Oliveira bombing that one down the right for Nakamura. There's little chance of keeping it in. Another interesting sighting was brought over to Australia by Mount Druitt Town Rangers, who of course were relegated back end of last year, but Nakamura's got some decent pedigree about him. Was a Japanese under-19 international, played with Montedio Yamagata, of course a former club of Australian coach Vetkovsky. Was impressive in his first season for a team that weren't having too much luck in terms of results. You've got to find a way to get the ball up to him, because United have been on the back foot in the last couple of minutes, and Lockie Scott was looking for True. It's those two in tandem again, causing the issues for United's back line. Certainly not a strike partnership in the old sense. They're both actually quite similar players. Scott probably a little stockier and more comfortable with his back to goal, but both can get in behind with their pace without any trouble whatsoever. Both terrific athletes. have won their side a corner here, which Chris McStay has gone to deliver. It's an outswinger. It's a testing one for United, who were good defensively from those situations last season. Very difficult to break them down. Marcio Vecchio, first time we've seen him in the game today, and he's turned it over. Aaron Basic. He's come a long way deep, but he's done well to pick out Shunta Nakamura. A little isolated out on the right, but he's going to try and take Ryan to the byline. Read it all the way, but does concede the corner. Game just starting to open up a little after a cagey start. One game running concurrently with us this afternoon that we'll keep you updated on. Rockdale Illingdon taking on the Marconi Stallions. Down at the Illingdon Sports Centre, third fixture that venue has hosted this weekend. It's going to be a busy time down in Rockdale this season with Illingdon, the owners, St George FC and Sydney FC all playing their home games out of there. All whipped into the near post. It was dealt with by Takumi. Still the danger is not clear for Wolves, and McGing almost having to, well, kick out at it Karate Kid style to steer it towards goal. Didn't get the purchase he was looking for. Nice direct ball from Andre Takumi, and that has put the defender back there, Jordan Ivancic, in an awkward position. He's forced to concede the corner. Trading set pieces in the opening quarter of an hour, these two sides. Stay over to take this one again. Not throwing numbers forward with reckless abandon, the Wolves, rather with target, and McStay, who put a lot of bend on his first corner, tried to put too much on that one. Ball flew behind for a goal kick before anyone had the chance to attack it. Dramatic day yesterday in the competition as well. Red cards galore both at Sutherland and Valentine Sports Park, where Sydney Olympic were taking on St George City. 3 red cards in that first game, which finished 0-0. Perhaps no surprise, given the tempestuous nature of that fixture. Sydney Olympic debutant George Timotheou went viral for being sent off less than 30 seconds into his debut. City, unsurprisingly, given the nature of their man advantage for more than 90 minutes, went on to win that game 1-0. Other results from later last night: Hills United losing their first match of the season to the Western Sydney Wanderers, who sit top as we begin things here this afternoon. 2 wins from 2. Sydney United could jump them with a 2-goal victory. De Oliveira was off balance as he looked to put that one in the area. Fairly easy for Ryan to deal with. We're all keeping the attack alive. Now Nakamura. Hasn't been too keen to run with the football. He's seen take Ryan to the byline once, but it's been conservative in the early stages, the Japanese winger. Nice turn from Maya. Very much been the conductor to this stage. That ball wasn't his best. Well read by Ryan. Now Mustafa looking up with Chris McStay. Might just look to go himself, the once South Sudanese international, and he's done very well to feed Jake True, who's in behind. Squares it up, and Lockie Scott has a tap in. Sydney United's defence all at sea, and Lachlan Scott has it put on a platter by Jake True to give Wollongong the lead.
Goal for Wollongong.
Well, that goal unfolded far too easily for the hosts' liking. All too simple for that deadly strike duo. They're at it again. David Carney's Wollongong side, it's really their first chance of note, and you won't get a clearer opportunity than that. Lockie Scott completely unmarked inside the 6-yard box. got a goal here last year in a 2-1 loss. He's hoping the result is a little different this weekend. And he's 2 from 2 to start the year as well, after getting the lone goal down the road for the Wolves last weekend. Certainly wasn't finding the back of the net that was a trouble for them in the late stages last season when they went on that run into the top half. So at the other end, they were being put under pressure. United haven't really been able to do that in the opening just shy of 18 minutes. The Sydney United Sports Centre has fallen into near silence. And they've got another attack to defend here. Lovely ball from True. Trying to play provider again. Masio Vecchio did well to bring it under his spell, and Winnie side another corner. The pendulum has well and truly swung the visitors' favour. It is not often you hear this venue this quiet, particularly with so many stocked in the Boca stand trying to find some shade this afternoon. You're a pin drop at the moment. Chris McStay to deliver this one again. A little less whip. Still putting pressure on Calats. In fact, it went behind again. Alessandro Lana has his flag in the air. And now Brodie Merchant, after a short delay, has picked that up. So it'll be a goal kick. Play being brought back a little way. Well, I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it's a long time since the Wolves have won here. You have to go back all the way to April 2008. That was the year they were the championship winners. There have been 14 visits since without a victory. Just a couple of points picked up in nearly 15 years at this venue. It's not been a happy hunting ground, but they're enjoying it this afternoon. True, belting it across the face of goal again, and McGing has to put it behind. Still yet to win here. He's only visited once before, McGing. This place he'll call home this season. That was a loss in the opening game of last season, playing for crosstown rivals Marconi. Not enjoying time at the moment. Jake True is giving him all sorts of headaches. McStay has come to the near side here to deliver a 5th corner already of the afternoon for the Wolves. That's a better ball. Ryan got his head on it at the front post. He and Kanaizumi almost making that job a little more difficult for one another. Kalat's happy to see it fly well wide of his goal. Rule, who got through a lot of work, played every league game last season. Bailey Rule had 6 more games in the Cup and have a very long season on young legs. Still only 23, a former Wanderers Academy player. Matt Hatch looking to get his defender, but Takumi has dealt with everything he's thrown at him to this point fairly adeptly. Very clever touch from Milicevic. That's the sort of quality he's got on the ball if they can find him more regularly. I think that will start to bear fruit for them. Tarek Meyer has been the main outlet through midfield to this point. Nakamura looking to slide it through for Milicevic, who's there at the byline to pick it up. Kanaizumi doesn't want to let that one go behind because it was a Wollongong touch last, so just scraps it clear. Scott with a sloppy touch this time, but manages to win it back. Rule turning it over, turning into a little bit of a midfield battle for the moment. Now some space for Sydney United 58. Ivancic. Still in plenty of space. The Wolves won't come out of their shape without proper provocation. So much of their success in the latter half of last year was their ability to stay in shape and move as a unit, limit the spaces for players to get in between their midfield and defensive lines. After an attacking start, they're settling into that shape. Hatch dropping deep to try and give himself a little bit more room. Now Rule. Nakamura. Looking to pass his way around his man. Did it beautifully with Milicevic. Initial header from Busnell. Wasn't all the way clear. Masio Vecchio scuffing his clearance. Now it's United's turn to put together some consistent pressure. Good piece of defending from Kanaizumi. So clever there, but then Aaron Basic won it back. Plays it off on a lovely ball from De Oliveira. Nakamura just didn't time his run quite nicely enough. Better football from Sydney United 58, the best they've shown so far this afternoon. All came to a halt. I mentioned we might be getting drinks breaks throughout the two halves this afternoon, such as the temperature. And so we have our first here. If you're just joining us, Lachlan Scott got the opening goal of the game. Laid for him on a platter by Jake True. Got to the bowler and squared the ball back for his captain, who was completely unmarked from about 6 yards out. Would have been easier to miss it. Well, probably easier to score it, rather. And that's what separates us. Vedran Janjetovic has been untroubled in Wollongong's goal to this point. Making his second start back in in semi-professional football after almost 4 years away. His last game in the A-League with the Western Sydney Wanderers was back in 2019. Breaking back into high-level football, again aged 36, so very good to see him back in the competition between the sticks for Wollongong. The concurrent game today between Rockville Illingdon and the Marconi Stallions still locked at 0-0. Apia Leichhardt and the Central Coast Mariners kicking off at 4 o'clock. Be able to find both those games where you found this one, Football New South Wales Facebook page and YouTube under the live tab. Wanted to give us a follow on all the socials, whichever is your choice. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at NPL New South Wales. The best way to get all the highlights, match reports, previews, reviews, interviews with players and coaches. Full coverage being led by Mark Stavroulakis and the team for the 2024 season. Another long one, 30 games. The second round of those. Got a couple of midweek fixtures, the first of those coming up in a couple of weeks' time. Tuesday and Wednesday night games added into all the weekend action. Not too long until the Australia Cup preliminaries get underway again as well. So Sydney United fans, given their success in that competition over the last couple of years, will certainly be looking forward to that. So there's a free kick being blown here by the referee, Brody Merchant. A couple of Wollongong players wouldn't have minded him playing advantage. Not least Dylan Ryan. And so Wollongong are going to have another attacking set piece from which to threaten United's goal. Chris McStade to take once again. It's almost been his main job in this first half. It's a fairly easy defensive header for Bailey Rule. He wasn't aware of who was behind him though, so just has to knock it behind. It'll be another Wollongong corner. It is not an energetic Sydney United Sports Centre at the moment for this home opener. Been second best to this point. It's not to say they haven't shown the ability to turn it around, but to this point, Wollongong's lead represented on the scoreboard. Largely been mirrored by what's happening on the pitch. Kalatz came and got an important touch because there were Wollongong bodies flying towards that one. Might be space for United to set up on the counter here. They move it quick enough. Ivancic, well, he was looking to give it back to Hatch, and a scream of frustration as he gives it away. Kanaizumi left that ball to the very last second as Hatch tried to put the pressure on him. Bull electing to keep it in play without too much pressure. Sister Charlie, of course, is currently plying her trade at Brighton and Hove Albion over in England, on the fringes of the Matildas squad as well. Talented footballing family. Much bending that one in behind. De Oliveira ran from deep, so was well onside. Now he wants support, which wasn't coming too quickly his way. Now it's starting to arrive. Bailey Rule. Nakamura, who's really hugged the touchline almost exclusively. Aaron Basic, well, he tried to buy the foul. I don't think he was ever going to get it. Riak out to get the ball half away. Ryan using his body cleverly to clear. You've got to be careful here, Vlastelica, because Jake True loves to make the most of those sort of balls in behind. Wasn't allowed to then by the United skipper. And it's launched another United attack as a result. Nakamura, this is the most space he's had all afternoon. Aaron Basic was trying something clever. Might have been trying something a little too clever with Harrison Busnell in his back. He's still having a word with Brodie Merchant about that penalty shout, which really only he was shouting for. Was up at this level of football. Mentioned all the players connected to A-League clubs. Aaron Basic split his time between the Central Coast Mariners and in the latter half of the season, the Bulls Academy, and Ryan will go into the book for that, I think. No, Merchant's showing patience. Well, I think Ryan's argument will be that he thought the throw was going his way. Quite why the ball would be thrown to him by the United bench is anyone's guess. Perhaps a little fortunate not to receive a booking there. The Wolves left back. This is where United need to improve. The play out from the back has been ponderous at times. Certainly the heat is having some sort of effect, but you can still move the football a lot quicker than they're managing quite at this moment. Wolves are just guiding them into positions that they want them. That's a beautiful ball again from Vlastelica. Not the first he's played this afternoon. Bypassing all that nonsense through the middle of the park. Nakamura. Feinting and weaving his way towards Ryan. Electing to hold it up eventually, and then Myers' ball over the top was always an ambitious one for Aaron Basic. Try and say that 5 times quickly. He's a tall boy, Marco Aaron Basic, but even he couldn't get to that one. Nice bit of play from Rule. He's been one of United's best in these early stages. Now, Brodie Merchant's been patient to this point. Sami Riak is testing it with fouls like that. Holds his hands up in innocence. And again, the referee elects to keep his cards in his pocket. I have to say, as a neutral, you always prefer to see that. Not sure that sentiment would be shared by Sydney United fans at this moment in time. Matthew Hatch weaving his way into the box, and McStay was the body in the way. Clearance isn't averted the danger, though. De Oliveira looking for Nakamura, who's unmarked. And his header across only found Kanaizumi. That's where Sydney United want Shunta Nakamura. It's in spaces like that where he can create. Probably one of the smallest in stature on the pitch, the Japanese winger, but showing, even when he gets the opportunity, that his head is an effective weapon as well. Only just evaded Aaron Basic. Starting today, if you have missed it, because Patrick Anselmi was sent off in the late stages of their first round win against the Central Coast Mariners after getting into a scuffle. United missing him at this point. as they search for their opening goal of the game, trailing 1-0, thanks to Lachlan Scott, the Wolves star striker, getting his second of the season. Ryan bringing it down, and flew into the challenge, and Brodie Merchant's patience has run out. First booking of the afternoon goes to the Wolves left back. I have to say that challenge was probably a little more unfortunate than Riak's, considering that Ryan really was going for the football. The heavy nature of the collision has meant that he's the first name in the referee's book. Bailey Rule not suffering any after effects. He's straight back up onto his feet. And Milicevic just erring on it for a moment too long, which gave Lachlan Scott a chance to get a foot in. Ryan, an important signing for Wolves this year. I know he's just gone into the notebook, but after losing Walter Scott, who was, for me, the best left back in the league last year, they needed replacing. Hatch getting into the area. It's Aaron Basic. Good save from Janjetovic. Still alive for United. Eventually, Riak gets it clear. Just had to spread himself there. Veteran Janjetovic showing his experience to deny young Marko Arabasic, who will feel he should have scored. Such was the power he struck the ball with that Janjetovic is still down. Sydney United's slow start has slowly begun to turn into a performance of a team in gear. Chances starting to flow a little more freely than they did in the opening half hour. Good time to bring you the benches for both teams, because veteran Janjetovic is not looking too comfortable. There is some movement on the United bench. I don't think they'll go to them just yet, but options for Zelko Kalat's there. This afternoon are number 5 Anthony Tomalic, who doesn't start, Adam Zervas wearing number 6, number 13 Alessandro Lacalandra. Number 17 is the reserve goalkeeper Matthew Nikolovsky, number 21 Dejan Bakadanakovsky, and number 22 Stefan de Robillard. For the Wolves, number 7 Takumi Afuka, I mentioned, doesn't get the start today. Effective weapon to have off the bench for David Carney, as is number 11 Sep Hernandez. Number 13, the reserve goalkeeper Oliver Yates, will be the backup for Janjetovic. I'll tell you what, I said it struck him in the midriff. I think it's caught him a little bit lower. Janjetovic, given his grimace and his reaction at the moment. Still more than a minute or so after the ball hit him. Number 15, Dax Kelly, and number 27, Damon Gray. Thankfully for Wollongong, although Janjetovic isn't grateful for it, as he shouldn't have to come off. Maya's got to be careful, because those long legs of Riak have surprising reach. Made United uncomfortable enough to turn it over. McStay linking up with Lockie Scott, the two leaders of this Wolves side. And McStay with an uncharacteristic error as he tried to play the ball wide to Masio Vecchio. And then Scott recovering has brought down De Oliveira. And I think he's, yes, he is the second name in Brodie Merchant's notebook. Just got to be careful. They were smart with their fouls last season. Wollongong, you see where they're committing them. David Carney asking the question of fourth official Hadi Al-Naqib as to quite why his captain drew the ire of the referee there. It's more an accumulation of the fouls his team have been committing rather than Scott in particular. There's a goal and a booking in this first half. Buснell stepping out of defence to deal with the initial danger. Second clearance wasn't much chop either, although Jake Trews made something of it and then won the free kick off Tarek Maya. Taken quickly by McStay, and Mustafa's got room to run into. Manages to keep it in too. Danger here for United. Mustafa. Riak on the edge of the area. Only registered one goal from midfield last season. Opts out of the shot, finds True. Takumi. Now Kanazumi. Wolves happy to put their foot on the ball for the moment. True, he's drifted out to the right. Weaving his way through a couple. De Oliveira held him up. Comes to Ryan, and that's not his best effort, getting forward from left full back. Didn't judge the cross quite as he would have liked. David Carney fired a few balls in from that sort of area in his time as a player. Wasn't best pleased with that effort either. Neither coach has been particularly vocal in this first half. Both have been content enough to watch from their seats. Kalatz has been up a couple of times making adjustments. I think he might be observing, what I am up here as well, that the movement of the football needs to be a little bit quicker. This is a little better from the hosts now. De Oliveira. McGing. Nice ball for Milicevic. This is the area where he can be dangerous. Lovely ball for Aaron Basic, who was brought down in the challenge. Was he? No. Enough of the ball, says the referee. And that's sure to incense the Sydney United crowd. I have to say, Aaron Basic did look to have beaten Busenel, who was a crossing cover. Slid in very dangerously. Got just enough of the ball for the officials. That wasn't too much of it. But United starting to create more and more dangerous situations for themselves. Gives the Wolves defence just a few more headaches than they have in the early stages of this first half. Got to be careful they're not caught under counter though. McStay slid into by De Oliveira. He's asking for a free kick and now it comes. Such is the fun of being a referee, is that the United fans are calling out in protest at the free kick while Sami Riak was asking for a booking. You don't want to be a people pleaser in that role. Goodness me. 5 minutes for United to try and find an equaliser in this first half. They've looked a lot better in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Busenel cool in picking that one off. Riak with a loose touch though. Kanazumi says, well, have that out of here, thanks. David Carney giving him a wry smile, asking if he was trying to play it to him. Adrian Vlastelica is continuing, well, a rather one-sided conversation with referee Merchant. He's going to look to play one of these diagonals again. Ryan was alive to what was coming that time. And then Rule handling as he tried to retrieve the second ball. Just fear half-time might be coming at the wrong time for the hosts at the moment as we tick towards it. It's been Wollongong very much trying to kill the momentum of the game. Janjetovic looking for True, got the knock on. McGing with a no-nonsense clearance into the Boca stand. This has been an ideal first half for Wollongong after suffering that first up loss last weekend. Certainly not an easy away trip to Marconi. Been one they've enjoyed almost as little as this one down the years. It's not a situation Sydney United are familiar with, trailing at home to the Wollongong Wolves. No matter what the form or aspirations the sides have been on year, when Wollongong have visited here, the result has almost indifferently been a Sydney United victory and 3 points. Going to have to battle for it if they're to keep that intact today. I do wonder if all the arguments from the Sydney United players have perhaps won Vlastelica that free kick. Ryan taking 2 bites at it to get it clear. And Mustafa a little sloppy in his challenge on Rule. United working their way up the pitch through free kicks. Space for Ivancic on the left. Hasn't been too much movement between the wide players for United in this first half. They've been quite keen to stick out on their wings and try and exploit the width. Not been given too much of an opportunity to do it by a well-disciplined Wolves defence. Might be able to. Nice ball from Nakamura. He and Milicevic have been good together down the right. Milicevic just couldn't pick out Aaron Basic. Janjetovic getting in front to claim it. And a beautiful release to find Masio Vecchio. McStay leaving it for Riak. Eventually reached him. Rather slower than the Scot might have anticipated. Let's come back to Chris McStay. Beautifully read by Bailey Rule, who's quickly become a fan favourite at Edensor Park in his second season with the club. The signing from the Northern Tigers 2 off-seasons ago. So unlucky not to be promoted with them that season, but managed to secure himself a move up the leagues with his performances for them that year. It's been good for Sydney United again here this afternoon, but his efforts have been in vain so far. Aaron Basic having the best opportunity of this first half saved and then having a penalty shout waved away by the referee. Been without too much fortune, the youngster in this first half. He's up trying to win this ball, which he's done. Getting ahead of Kanaizumi, finding Nakamura. Milicevic again. Back to Shunta Nakamura. Rule for his winger again. Just no one there to support them. It's those 3 left to do it by themselves on the right at the moment. Maya lets it run for Vlastelica. Back to Tarek Maya. Aaron Basic playing as the hold-up. De Oliveira keen to get in behind. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. Can't expect that we're going to have too much time added on at the end of this first half. Probably be 2 or 3 minutes for the drinks break, and that'll be it. I thought the half-time whistle might come at the wrong time for Sydney United. That's certainly looking like the case. On top in the pattern of the game, but behind on the scoreboard as we tick towards the break. Tarek Maya. Can they capture something late? Busnell was across early to clear. The Canberra native launches that almost into King Tom. Got plenty of purchase on that clearance, and they're running out of footballs out there. Something to be brought over from the other side of the pitch. Sydney United almost out of time in the first half here. Nakamura. And Aaron Basic. A big swing at it. There wasn't too much connection though. And the ball trickles wide. Sums up his first half really. A couple of decent chances. One well saved by Janjetovic. Penalty shout turned down. It's been a frustrating first half for the 21-year-old. His first start back at Sydney United 58. Vlastelica has been in the referee's ear the entirety of the first half, and he's continuing now. McStay. Knocking that ball over the top to no one in particular. The Wolves happy to just see this one out to half-time. McGing for rule. Ball was asking a lot of Shunta Nakamura. Couldn't make anything of it. Janjetovic just eating more clock here. So Wolves look for sanctity of the dressing rooms at half-time. It'll be an encouraging team talk for David Carney's because his team started the brighter here. I got the result when Lachlan Scott opened the scoring.
Sydney United
58,
0,
frustrated. Marko Arabatic having the best chance of the first half for the hosts. Turned away by veteran Janjetovic before he had a penalty shout turned down as well. Sydney United finished the stronger, but they couldn't find their way onto the score sheet at half-time here at the Sydney United Sports Centre. Well, the score, as both teams head down into the change rooms, is Sydney United 58-0, Wollongong Wolves 1. Welcome back to Edens Park and the Sydney United Sports Centre. The second half of this round 2 clash between the Wollongong Wolves and Sydney United 58 about to get underway. The visiting Wolves took the lead in the first half through their captain Lachlan Scott, his second goal in 2 weeks to kick off the season. Sydney United having a good chance of their own through their striker Marko Arambasic, saved by veteran Janjetovic. And a penalty shout late in the half, waved away by referee Brodie Merchant. But certainly they finished the stronger. Question for David Carney now is whether attack is the best form of defence and whether he gets his team going forward looking for a second, or they try and resist what was becoming a more potent Sydney United threat up front. Alex Molchanoff along with you for the second half. Just a little bit of a false start there as Scott tricked us all. Now we're back underway. 45 minutes more action coming your way from Sydney Southwest. Temperatures just dropped a little bit since kickoff. It was 28 then. Told it's down to about 25. I'd expect we'll still be stopping for drinks breaks at the midway point of this second half. It is hot out there, particularly on the artificial turf at Edens Park. There was a coming together there between McStay and De Oliveira. Wolves happy to play with it because they've got it. Ball fired a little deep by Masio Vecchio. Picked up by his opposite winger and Mustafa. He's got the better of Bailey Rule. It's Mustafa into the area. Lockie Scott's there again. And a beautifully timed challenge by William McGing to end the threat. Had to time that one well. As soon as he made the decision to go to ground. Beautifully timed tackle to snuff out the threat. The Wolves had come out just as they did in the first half. It wasn't quite a highlight to start like that, but certainly had United on the back foot. They're getting for themselves through Matt Hatch here. De Oliveira. Meyer with a lot of space. Milicevic with even more. Struck it beautifully, but McStay flying across to block. Ball spins behind for a Sydney United corner. Sydney United 58 built plenty of pressure in the latter stages of the second half, of the first half rather. Took them a while to get into the ascendancy in this match. Still they trail on the scoreboard. Hatch over to take this corner. With his left foot, Janjetovic flapped at it, and Nakamura couldn't head it home. Probably not the man who Sydney United wanted that opportunity to fall to, although he had shown adeptness in using his head to set up Arambasic late in the first half. Couldn't take the chance when the moment presented itself. Probably the best chance of the match for Sydney United. Janjetovic coming out and not able to claim it. Perhaps a little let-off for the Wolves goalkeeper. Still his clean sheet is intact. Wolves searching for their first victory of the season today after falling on the opening day. First victory here since 2008. Venue they've had a torrid time at over the past decade and a half. Perhaps a little omen as well. Not that suggesting that could happen, but their last grand final victory in the top tier of New South Wales football was the same year, in 2008. Finished level on points at the top of the table with Sutherland that year. I think either side is quite expected to be hitting those sorts of heights this season. Vancic got forward a few times from left fullback, hasn't been able to deliver anything telling to this point, and then he's just been squeezed out of that little wrestling match. Masio Vecchio allowed to run at McGing and using his arm legally to guide him off the football was the United centre half. It's not been an easy one for the referee Brodie Merchant today. He's done well of managing the game. Matthew Hatch, who's flicked out to the right-hand side to start this second half, cutting in on his left. Fairly regulation save in the end for Janjetovic. United continuing where they left off at the end of the first half, pushing forward, but that's leaving more and more space in behind. Mustafa and True, lovely touch. It's Vecchio. Very good block by the retreating Bailey Rule. Game really starting to open up as United push harder for an equaliser. That suits Wollongong just fine. Certainly a cliche for commentators to fall back on, but really feel it is the case given the pattern of this game so far. The second goal will be so telling. As to where the points end up at the end of the afternoon. Wollongong throwing more bodies forward than they did in the first half for these set pieces. McStay to take. Busnell was the option at the back post that had too much juice on it, and Busnell had shoved his opponent out of the way in any case. Still only 20 years of age, Harry Busnell, into his second season under David Carney at the Wollongong Wolves. Become a fixture of their backline alongside Banri Kanaizumi. One thing Carney's been calling for is for his two players back there to be more vocal. Certainly they've got Chris McStay, who's a forceful voice who you often hear through our microphones here at the grounds in front of them. What's that coming from the back as well? I think Busnell is slowly learning that. He's certainly got the physical figure for a centre half in this competition. Vlasteletsa has been a pillar of their opposition's defence for nearly a decade now. And the free kick has gone Sydney United's way. Matthew Hatch, adjudged to have got his body in the right position. And then brought down by Andre Takami. He's getting tangled up. United perhaps a little fortunate that the decision went their way. Sam Riak over to have a gentle conversation with referee Merchant and set up this wall. Looks like there's going to be two in it for Vedran Janjetovic. United's two-man committee over the set piece has quickly become one. Matt Hatch makes way for Tarek Mayat. Only 4 red shirts inside the box. 3 spread along its edge for Tarek Mayat. He's looking to give Janjetovic a test again, and he's let it come loose, but was fouled in the process by Aaron Basic. It's come off worse for wear. The Sydney United striker, Janjetovic, looked to have a handle on it, and then it just wriggled its way free. Very fortunate, the Wolves goalkeeper. He's had a couple of heart-in-mouth moments at the start of this second half. Certainly felt the effects of a save he had to make late in the first from Aaron Basic. Was down on his haunches for quite a while. Not saying that's had the effect. That was a clattering challenge from Vecchio, and he finds his way into the book. The third Wollongong Wolf book this afternoon. And that chance early in the second half, it's about all Alex Vecchio's had in way of meaningful contributions to this game. And perhaps we shouldn't be surprised to see this, because Takumi Afuka started on the bench today, which was one that had us raising our eyebrows up here. Now he's got a little over half an hour to try and make an impact. As Marcio Vecchio's booking is his last contribution of the afternoon. Afternoon where he didn't quite look himself, I think it's fair to say. Here's Bailey Rule getting forward from right full back for United. Flicked up. That's a tricky one for Busnell to deal with. Had a lot of topspin on it. Almost like a tennis forehand, and he headed it behind. Seen a lot of set pieces for both teams this afternoon. Call from Zelko Kalats was for United to play. So I assume he wants a short delivery, but doesn't want that with Takami so close. So he delivers to the front post. It really wasn't a good ball at all. Very easily dealt with by Wollongong. Can Myra cycle? Not really. McStay snuffing out that attack before it began. I think Kalats is more than thinking about substitutions now. I think he might be readying them. Nice work from Aaron Basic. He's growing into this second half, as he's grown into the game, really. A couple of missed opportunities in the first half, but he's never stopped looking for the ball. In for Patrick Antelmi, who's suspended today. Lovely run from De Oliveira. This is the run they've been looking for. And Milicevic just trying a little casual flick. Didn't come off. And once again, as United have committed numbers forward, it's left space for the Wolves to attack. Yaqub Mustafa playing backwards and giving himself the space to run into. Linking up with Afuka. Ball in, just left a little too much to do for both Mustafa and Jake True. Awkward one for man back there, Dylan Ryan. Ball over the top was for Hatch, but Janjetovic had a head start. Both teams trying things at the moment. You sense the goal isn't too far away. And particularly with clearances like that from Takami, not his best effort either. Not under any sort of pressure. Reacts managed to bail him out. The team's trying things. Certainly the tidiness of this game that was so present in the first half has disappeared. And then a clumsy challenge from a man who's already been booked. Decision here for Brodie Merchant because Nakamura was away, and I think that might just be his last warning. Bailey Rule cannot believe it. He is apoplectic. And certainly Nakamura was looking at the referee straight away. The United players well aware of what the situation was there. As were the referees. No second yellow for Dylan Ryan. Might count himself a little lucky. Vancic had just ducked off there to receive treatment for something. He's back on the pitch now. United had been down a player for just a moment there. Hatch with a two-man wall facing him. Plenty of red shirts forward this time. Can he produce a better ball? He certainly can. And it was knocked off the line by Ryan. Not sure whether Janjetovic might have got there in any case, but Dylan Ryan was not taking any chances. United continue to put wave after wave of attack together, but have still not been able to beat veteran Janjetovic. A couple of changes coming for Zelko Kalats. Nakamura has looked better and better as this game's gone on. Ducking inside now. Just had it nicked off his toe by McStay. Vlastelica doesn't mind playing playmaker when he's got the opportunity. That ball was a little bit too audacious though. Flies behind for a Wolves goal kick, and now the changes do come for the hosts, as we expected. Alessandro Lacalandra was such a regular threat off the bench last year for Miro Vlastelica. Can he have the same effect for Zelko Kalats? Jordan Avancic, I just mentioned that he found his way over to the sideline, so he's going to be replaced as well. Stefan de Robillard coming on, 21-year-old. He's bounced around a couple of the youth academies. Started at Northbridge, which became the Central Coast, and then
coming off to number 22,
became
Stephen
Bulls Academy last year,
and
which is where he spent last year.
Alessandro Lacalandra.
Michael Andrew, a United junior who burst onto the scene last year, was so key in their Waratah Cup final victory, laying on 2 assists in extra time. And he's managed to win his side a corner with his first touch here, knocking the ball off Sami Riak. And so more headaches at the back for the Wolves. We've bent but haven't broken yet as we tick towards the hour mark here at Edensor Park. Both teams in the reverse of the situation they were in a weekend ago. United led by a goal and Wolves trailed. Nice touch from Meyer to take it away from Mustafa. Trying to get a second cross in. Instead he goes short for Vlastelica, whose touch let him down. Managed to win the 50-50 though. De Oliveira's ball in to Robillard. Not the first touch he was looking for. Might have found the equaliser. Barely made contact with the ball in the end. And now there's a counter to try and see off for United. I think Fuka might have been offside in any case there. Yes. Flag comes from assistant Jackson Mackey on the near side. Taken quickly by United, who have found success in upping the tempo of this match. Well, Milicevic just dwelling on the football a little too long. Not for the first time in the second half. Fuka. The Wolves put their foot on the ball just to slow the tempo a little again. They're a savvy football side. They know one goal is more than enough as long as they keep their discipline. United in a familiar situation, chasing a game at home. Almost ended up 50-50 when they did find themselves in these spots last year. Frustrating dilemma, having copped the early goal though. Their fans are becoming a little too familiar with. Meyer. He's looked comfortable in that new role so far. First time I've had eyes on it for the full 90 minutes. Needing a bit more from the players ahead of him. De Oliveira's shown it in flashes, as is Milicevic. See if these new substitutes can try and get something going. To Robillard with a sloppy ball forward. Offers a hand of apology to Milicevic. All Vlastelica can do is put the ball out of play. Lockie Scott says, let's take our time. He's been here before. Mentioned that 2-1 win in the first half that Sydney United got here last year against the Wolves. Latest of their consistent victories over the visitors here. Second game was a 0-0 draw, so certainly weren't goals aplenty between these two last season. Spinning was McStay, wanted the free kick, it didn't get it, and Carlos de Oliveira has copped a whack to the chest and is down in some pain here. Holding his midriff. I'm not sure quite what caught him there, but it caused some sort of reaction, enough for him to completely take his focus from the game and for Brody Merchant to stop play altogether. Update from the concurrent game at the Illingdon Sports Centre. Marconi took the lead. They were pegged back by Rockdale before half-time. Went into the break there at 1-1. Marconi have taken the lead back in the second half at the Illingdon Sports Centre. James Tembelkovsky getting his second goal for the club after getting the winner against the Wolves last weekend. Or in fact, he got the opener last weekend. This goal might prove the winner this. In the other game, which has kicked off, Apia Leichhardt have just doubled their advantage over the Central Coast Mariners inside 20 minutes. 2-goal lead for them at Leichhardt Oval. Their first home game being played there of a few this season. Out of their permanent move there, certainly that is the plan for the National Second Division next year.
Coming on for Sydney United is number 5, Anthony Tomilic.
And there's been a change, so Anthony Tomilic has been brought on for Carlos de Oliveira. It's not particularly attacking substitution. That's not to say Tomolic doesn't have technical quality. He certainly does, but it's generally associated with playing as a screener in front of the back four, which is the position Myers occupying at the moment. Interesting choice of substitution from Kalatz.
Also on for United is number 6, Adam Zervas.
Adam Zervas is the second of the substitutes, the former Newcastle Jet. He goes up front. Just in hot behind the players up front. In fact, Lakalandra has been installed in the central position with the withdrawal of Marco Arambasic. So his afternoon is over. So it's so long for that goal. It hasn't come this afternoon. It's a pretty clear shove from Matthew Hatch. Referee was right on the spot. That's been a real reshuffle now for Sydney United. Hatch has gone to left fullback. Midfield three is now Maya, Tomolic and Zervas. To Robillard flanking Lakalandra on the left and Nakamura still on the right. Is that the key to unpick the lock of this Wolves defence? Maya might be deepened here if Takumi Afuka can produce some magic. He's found Mustafa. Just hesitated as the ball came to him. Touch taken off Hatch, causing that, and then Hatch getting his body in the way to intercept the pass, or at least block it. Danger not clear though for Sydney United. Oh, loose pass from Mustafa, and a nice touch from Nakamura, which has got Lakalandra in behind. He was well onside. And then a beautifully timed challenge from Busnell. Reading it all the way. And getting his right foot across to snuff out the danger. Draws applause from the sparse smattering of Wolves fans, but more defending to do. This time it's Ryan back there, hoisting it clear. King's header, well, not really dealing with it in the end. Jake True just holding it up. McStay. Ryan going all the way back to his goalkeeper. Nice ball from Janjetovic. Gave Takami something to attack. Wolves have won it in any case. Afuka flicking it wide. Rule just lost it for a second and then won the foot race to get there ahead of True. Just a quarter of the game remaining. Sydney United still trailing to Lockie Scott's first half goal. Janjetovic has only really been called into action in terms of making a save once since that. Shot one from Arambasic, the edge of the 6-yard box late in the second half. Apart from that, it's been largely untroubled, the Wolves goalkeeper. Nakamura for Rule. Maya. Hatch with a searching ball, but Zervas' strength is not in the air. I think that's safe to say. Needed that one whipped into his feet. Afuka has just been given license to roam wherever he likes across the front line. And turned over by McStay. Poor error from him, and there's numbers for United if they move it quickly. Tomolic leading the break. Zervas, the former Jet, out to Robillard. It's a good piece of defending from Takami, but he has managed to win his side a corner. Stefan de Robillard. Mentioned how effective United were defending set pieces last season. They weren't quite as effective in using them as an attacking weapon. And, well, perhaps you can see why with the setup of that. A lot of craft without an end result. Kalatz calling for his team to step up into a press, which we haven't seen all afternoon. It immediately bears fruit, though. Adam Zervas is there. and didn't catch the strike whatsoever. Couple of moments that Sydney United just haven't snatched. McStay in animated discussion with his coach David Carney about the turnover. Shake of the head from Carney. It took them a while to wrangle the momentum back, Sydney United. They've certainly done that, but now their frustrations lie in trying to break down a well-set Wolves defence. Had all the big moments go their way, really. In terms of a penalty shout at the end of the first half. Ryan, perhaps a bit unfortunate, well, perhaps a bit fortunate still to be on the pitch after being booked in the first half, and then having a foul that on another day would have been booked again. 50-50 decision which fell the visitors' way. Maybe that's the luck they've been missing out on their yearly visits here. No win here, a reminder for the Wolves, since 2008. A year in which they went on to win the championship. Usnell has been so impressive at the back today. Only thing he could have done better there was keep it in play. Kalat's becoming increasingly vocal at the edge of his technical area. The same can be said for Carney, both sensing this game is about to reach its climax. Tomolic for Shunta Nakamura. Gets it back off him. And he just copped a whack in the face from Riak there as he played that ball forward. I think it was inadvertent, but would have hurt in any case. Plenty of space for Maya, but Wolves have been happy to give him that this afternoon. Beautiful ball for Tomolic, just an inch too high. Showing his ability to get into the box. Anthony Tomolic didn't see too much of that last season. No goals in 29 league games. And turning 30 later this year. For the first time this afternoon, Janjetovic sends it long and well clear of his penalty area. Scott's won the 50-50 on halfway. Haven't seen too much of him in the second half, but that's a telling touch for True. Oh, and just too high for Mustafa. Sydney United still being given a consistent threat on the break by their visitors. Offside flag went up belatedly from assistant referee Mackie there. Would have bailed them out had Mustafa managed to get his head on it in any case. Riak with an enterprising win and a good ball forward for True. Afuka's got plenty of space. Very good block from McGing, bursting out of the back line to get his body in the way and make sure Oliver Kalatz didn't have a save to make, but another corner. Wolves were bombarding Sydney United's penalty area from these sort of scenarios in the first half. McStay's not had too much to do in the way of set pieces in the second. Update from Leichhardt Oval, where Apia, after their 6-3 loss last weekend, having a field day back home. A 3-0 lead inside half an hour over the Central Coast Mariners, who were vanquished by Sydney United last weekend. McStay with plenty to aim for in the box. He's going to try and put the pressure on Kalatz again, who got caught in two minds. Adam Zervas back there to make the clearing header. Nice turn from de Robillard. Sold Riak down the river. And then had the quick feet to beat Mustafa, who once he was beaten was happy to bring him down. Easy decision for Brody Merchant. Fourth booking for the Wolves this afternoon, and Sebastian Hernandez is about to join us. This was his home ground for a portion of last season while at the Bulls Academy.
Coming on for Wollongong is number 11, Sebastian Hernandez.
Some more attacking weapons for the Wolves to try and utilise if they can hit Sydney United on the break. They've got an attack to defend here. Busenal stooping to clear. If you have just joined us, this has been the pattern of the match since the Wolves took the lead after just 20 minutes. After starting the brighter, they've been happy to sit back in their shape and let Sydney United have the majority of possession. They've not been able to create too many meaningful chances, though. Can they hear? Tomalic to Robillard, who used his arm to control. And ball that was fairly clear from up here. And from Brodie Merchant's view down there as well. And as with all their restarts in this second half, Wolves have been in no hurry. It's been an unusually mild crowd at Endenza Park today. Fans, maybe because of the heat, not quite finding their full voice. Perhaps some memories of last season starting to sneak in. Mendes did well to win the initial ball. The two teams play a bit of head tennis. That's a lovely ball from Tomalic. There's a question mark about a hand to control, but Nakamura's not worried about that. He's looking for Zerbat, who goes down and wins the penalty kick. Finally, United get what they were looking for. Sami Riak bundling over Adam Zervas. And the United fans have finally found their voice. Big cheer around the Sydney United Sports Centre. David Carney can't believe it. But Riak was second to the ball. Did look to have caught Adam Zervas. The referee Merchant had very little hesitation in pointing to the spot. Unfortunate Sami Riak, who showed plenty of energy on a hot day out there. But it was his challenge that led to the penalty kick. And Stefan de Robillard. Just his second appearance for Sydney United 58. Entrusted with a spot kick. And converts it right in the corner. Would have taken something spectacular from Jan Jezinic, and he
scored for Sydney United by number 22, Stefan de Robillard.
For Stefan de Robillard, and it is the equaliser. Through sheer weight of possession and territorial dominance, you say the hosts deserve it. Can they go on and find a winner? Wollongong, who were one of the best teams at gaining points from losing positions last year. Got to make sure they don't let any more slip from their grasp here. Zervas, who's been tidy since coming on in his Sydney United debut. Wolves will go back to their simple but effective tactics in pushing Sydney United 58 back with their physicality. Saw Hernandez trying to do exactly that. I think Riak might have lost that in the sun, and then he bundles into Zervas very late. He's given away a penalty, and now he's in the book. It's a slight size disparity between those two. Zervas had the front position, and he felt the full weight of Sami Riak. He's had the better of that little battle since coming on. De Robillard, full of confidence after his strike from the penalty spot, which levelled the scores. Patch. Grandstand finish after what's been a slow afternoon, in all honesty. Pace of the game has never really got out of second gear. Starting to here, driven by the host Sydney United 58. De Robillard again. It's read all the way by Takami, who did well and won the second ball as well off Hatch. Gives Hernandez space to run into. Hatch using his athleticism beautifully to cheer from the United fans who found their voice. Meyer and Tomolich. Nakamura. Lakalandra. Haven't seen too much of him since he came on. He's looking to nutmeg Kanaizumi. He used all his experience once the ball had been slipped through his legs to win the free kick. 10 minutes to go, and the game back in the balance. Lachlan Scott's first half goal cancelled out by Stefan de Robelard's penalty about 5 minutes ago. Won by Zervas, converted by another substitute. So Kalatz has hit the right notes from that point of view this afternoon. Nice touch from Lockie Scott. Really haven't seen too much of him in the second half after he got that opening goal. Afuka, we've seen more of him since he's come on. McStay never minds a strike from distance, but that one was blocked by Zervas. And then going into the challenge roughly, it's Ryan again. Nakamura is pleading with the referee to show a second yellow card. Fair to say, Dylan Ryan has walked the tightrope this afternoon. It's a real waste of the free kick, though, from Sydney United. Given the pain that Nakamura had to endure to win it, I don't think he'll be best pleased. Lockie Scott finding himself in an offside position there as he came back to challenge. Well, there's appeals for offside, and the flag went up a little late from Alessandro Lana. Just waiting to make sure Nakamura did elect to play the ball. Discipline line rather, held by the Wolves back four. Some match taking place at Rockdale. The Illingdon Sports Centre. Rockdale Illingdon have found another equaliser. Their second of the afternoon. 2-2. Just under 10 minutes to play there as well. Ball from Kalatz comes to press. He's been more and more energetic at the edge of his technical area as the game's worn on. Riak, perhaps trying to make amends for conceding the penalty. Lockie Scott. Afuka in space on the left again. Can he find the cross? McStay arriving. Kalatz did enough and then got involved in a little bit of afters as McStay was on the ground. Not the smartest move from the goalkeeper, but you can perhaps understand his frustration. McStay only had eyes for the ball. He had every right to challenge for it. Didn't tickle though, and now McStay, I'm pretty sure, is about to find himself in the book. Silly to get involved there with Liam McGing, who was looking for exactly that and got what he came for. Got 9 goals last season, Chris McStay from midfield. He's one of the best two threats after Lockie Scott and True. Takumi Afuka hit double figures as well. I didn't have any trouble finding the back of the net last season, Wollongong. Haven't had too many opportunities though this afternoon since going ahead. The narrative of this game has changed somewhat since United's equaliser. They'll be frustrated now if they don't come away with all 3 points, you feel. Meyer has been consistently brilliant through the middle of the park this afternoon. Rule can't reel that one in though. Another thing I just heard mentioned in the crowd and agree with, there's been no stoppage for drinks in this second half as there was in the first. Nakamura has won the free kick off Sami Riak, who's really found himself at odds with the officials in this second half. United with another chance from a set piece. Can't be getting far from throwing all the bodies forward as they search for a winner here. Wollongong have thrust everybody back. Lockie Scott the only one outside their penalty area other than Afuka, who's standing in a one-man wall. Rules delivery. Deflected. Can Janjetovic keep it in? He can. Another wasted set piece from Sydney United this afternoon, and then Rule getting into a tangle with Scott. It was a very cynical challenge. Once the Wolves skipper had got the wrong side of him. By my reckoning, that's the first Sydney United player in the book this afternoon. Bailey Rule. Has had a busy afternoon, the referee. So, having just defended one, the Wolves have an attacking set piece. And Kanazumi's knocked it down for Scott, who gets his double. And against the run of play, Wolves take the lead back. United asleep at the set piece and punished. Banri Kanaizumi with a clever knockdown, and Lockie Scott. What a start to the season for the Wollongong skipper. 3-2 for him. And the Wolves are just 5 minutes from taking all 3 points back down the M1 with them. Lachlan Scott, who's got through a lot of legwork, has had barely scraps to feed on in the second half. When his moment came, he was there to snatch it again, and that's really been the difference this afternoon. Sydney United missing Patrick Antelmi and perhaps missing his cutting edge. And now at the mercy of their visitors. Hernandez for McStay. And the Wolves, as we saw for so long in this second half, were happy to just sit back and absorb pressure, slow the tempo. United are going to have to lift it again. McStay was caught by Zervas, but he got enough of the ball. Riak across. He'll be the most grateful for that second goal after giving away the penalty. But he has been good in general this afternoon. Had a sloppy 10 minutes, but been getting through a lot of work through the middle. Just he and McStay as a midfield two. Nakamura. Sydney United, I said 5 minutes ago, I think they'd be disappointed if they didn't come away with all 3 points. Such has been the topsy-turvy nature of this football match that they'd be happy, more than happy with one now. Given the difficulty they found in breaking down this Wolves defence. De Robillard, his name is on the score sheet. It's not going to be enough at this stage. Maya. Rule. Actually coming further and further infield to give Nakamura that space to try and deliver, as he's done there. And it was just asking for someone in red to attack it. No one did. Frustration continues to grow in the Boca stand and around the Sydney United Sports Centre. Maya to take the in-swinger this time. Plenty of red bodies forward again. One to attack it was McGing. It's fallen for Zervas, who didn't catch it whatsoever. A couple of times he's had chances from that sort of range. He's heard when they've fallen to him. And chance here again. Heads across the face of goal rather than going for goal. And Kanaizumi clears his lines. Kalat's using his head. Did well to find Maya. Creative bit of goalkeeping. Lovely work from Tarek Maya. De Robillard trying to link up with Lacalandra. It's Stefan De Robillard. And still there for Zervas, who once again fires wide. De Robillard's been the telling substitution. He took a couple of minutes to find his feet after coming on, but he's converted the penalty and made things happen down the left, as has Nakamura. Across the course of the 90 minutes down the right. Didn't see much of Alessandro Lacalandra through the middle last year. He's generally deployed when Nakamura is playing as a wide right. Doesn't look completely comfortable in that central striking role. Here's Patrick Anselmi's usual backup. Certainly last season was Chris Payne, who was let go at the end of last season. Now down with Bankstown City in League One. Not saying United fans are thinking about what might have been, but just the situation this afternoon might have called for someone like him. Well, Lockie Scott wanted the free kick. He stayed down. Takumi Ifuka, after 2 or 3 bites, was eventually brought down by Maya, who becomes the second United name in the book in a matter of minutes. Felt born of frustration as much as anything. Had an injury-riddled 2023 season, Tarek Maya. He looks to be central to plans again this year, but hasn't been able to drive his team into a winning position so far today. Fuka's been full of energy since coming on. We expect nothing less from the Japanese winger. Nice ball for True. Not too many grey shirts in the area, but he's done well to fashion a corner, which will just allow Wollongong to eat a little bit more time off the clock. Their terrible record at this ground looks as though it's going to turn for them this afternoon. The book might be set to be closed rather than another chapter written, as it looked might be the case for long periods in this second half when Sydney United set up camp in their half, really. Only able to beat Vedran Janjetovic once, and it's come back to bite them. McStay trying to use his body. It was won fairly by McGing. That's leaving them short of bodies, so United, they just have not been able to get the ball forward quickly enough in those sorts of situations this afternoon. Once again, Wolves more than happy to get behind the ball, and the sniff of a chance is gone. Maya. Last rights for United. Nakamura. Tomolic joining in. Looking to spin inside the area. Was helped to ground by Kanozumi, but there was no foul there, despite the screams from the hill on the far side. Haven't been given a signal of time added on. I can't expect there's too much longer. One more sob for David Carney. Looks like it's going to be one of his youngsters, Damon Gray. 5 appearances and a debut last season, and now Vedran Janjetovic has been booked for delaying the restart. Add another name to that long list of Wollongong Wolves who've found themselves in Brodie Merchant's notebook. A fair bit of paperwork for him to do after this one. United have come away with it. Nakamura. Darting between 2 defenders and further into the box, just looking to go all the way himself and losing his balance at the crucial moment. David Carney was engaged by the run, the way he would have liked to have been, where he could just enjoy it. Heart in mouth moment for the Wolves. They're taking their time to see this one out. Jake True is going to be the man removed. He's going to be told to make his way off on the far side.
Coming on for Wollongong is number 27, Damon Gray.
Damon Gray, the Wollongong junior. Brought on for whatever little time is left of this encounter. He's gone up in the contest for the header with Chris McStay. I think it might have bounced off the substitute's head and out for a United throw. Bench looks a little resigned to their fate. I'm sure the players don't, but the body language is not the best out there, unless Rule can make something happen. Tomolic. It's Nakamura again. Can he find the ball? Riak was back there and timed the interception perfectly. Appeals for handball only coming from supporters. No shouts from the players. Zervas just forcing Hatch backwards and taking the pace out of that attack. Maya for Nakamura. And Busnell away again. Probably close to player of the match. McGing's ball for Zervas. Uncompromising challenge from Takami. Vlastalista recycles. That's a better ball from Zervas for Hatch. Well, the ball didn't match the one in behind, but it's won back by Lakalandra. Hatch might get a second bite. What can he muster? And tired legs. A beautiful challenge from Sep Hernandez. Timed it to perfection. And Hatch is left on his backside, ruining what might have been, as do Sydney United 58.
Full time here at United Sports Centre. Wollongong 2.
Wollongong getting the win thanks to a brace from their captain, Lachlan Scott. Really the only two chances that fell his way this afternoon.
Premier League fixture.
The Wolves' second certainly coming against the run of play after Stefan de Robillard had found an equaliser for United from the penalty spot. It was too little, and United ultimately couldn't come up with enough against a very disciplined Wolves defence.
Thanks so much for your attendance this afternoon,
their first win of the season, Sydney United's first loss.
On March 10. Thank you.
A flip from results in round one. Wolves will feel it's well deserved, and their first victory here since 2008 is a welcome one. It's been a pleasure to bring you all the action on this Sunday afternoon from the Sydney United Sports Centre. Alex Molchanoff signing off on the Football New South Wales YouTube page from Adenza Park, where it's finished. Sydney United 58-1, Wollongong Wolves 2.